Welcome back, students. This is Engineering Tutor, and today we will talk about the Python functions. So let's get started. Okay, so recently we talked about many entities in the Python programming language, in which all the entities were composed to perform in the sequential manner. Just like if you are going to write something, like if you are giving that x equal to 10, y equal to 10, and if you want to sum them together, what will you do? You will write x plus y and then print them. Okay, so printing them will use this one. So here you can see that this operation is basically the sequential operation. So the language or the configuration here is called the procedural language. Okay, so the procedural sequence or the sequential operation is carried out throughout the programming project. So now from today we are going to discuss another functionality of the programming languages, and that is the functional entities. So what are basically the functional entities? So function is something which is used to carry out some specific task which is either built in or a user used to build it for his own convenience. Okay, so basically the functions are of two types. The first type is the built-in type, and the second one are the user defined functions. So what are the basic types of the built-in functions? So we can very easily see that recently we have seen the uses of a print command, similarly sum command, and many other commands like length command. All of these are basically the functions which are already available in the Python libraries. Okay, so these are basically the built-in functions which are already available in the Python package. Similarly, if a user wants to carry out some specific tasks, so therefore he defines functions for himself in order to schedule the repetitive task. Okay, so what is the benefit or what is the edge of using the functions is to schedule the repetitive task, and in order to write a certain task again and again, a function has to be written, and whenever this certain specific task has to be carried out, all the numbers will be thrown towards the function and it will calculate whatever it has to calculate. Okay, so that is the basic concept behind the usage of a function. So after it, let me go towards the user defined functions development in the Python language. So in order to develop a function in the Python language, what are the basic entities and what are the basic things which we have to know? The first thing here is the function name. So you have to define yourself the name of a function which you will use most frequently in the program. So let me define a program which will display the sentence hello world. So let me call it hello, and after it let me write these brackets. Okay, so that is the hello function. But remember, in writing the Python functions, what we have to do, first of all, before the function name, we have to write the statement, that is the def or definition. Okay, so once it is written, so it says that the function has been declared. So after declaring the function, we have to write the definition of the function. So what this program will do, the program will basically print the statement hello world. Okay, so that is the functionality of that program. So that is the function hello which has been defined, and running it will create this function. Okay, so how to invoke this function, how can we use this function? So in order to use this function, we can use another concept, and that is the concept of function call. So in order to call this function, whenever we will write hello, and with this I will write this these brackets, so it means that I am calling a function, or this is a function here. So whenever I will write here, so every time I will write, it will display hello world for me. Okay, so that is a very simplified version of a program which basically print out the hello world here. Similarly, if I want to write a function, whenever I call it, it give me the first 10 odd numbers. So how to define it? So again I will write def, and then let me call it odd, and this function, okay, the function, so now the function has been declared. So in order to write the first 10 odd numbers, what I would do, I may do it by using many methods, but let me write for I in range starting at 0 and having a distance or 10, and after it what I have to write, I have to write this, and okay, so that is the function. And whenever I will call it, whenever I will call it like odd, so what would it do? It will give me first 5 odd numbers which are from 1 to 10. Okay, so this is a function, and whenever in the program I will need the functionality, I will just call it and it will carry out the desired task. Okay, so that is the function. There is another concept here, that whenever I will call a function, so inside the brackets here I can give it some values, and by processing those values it can give me the output. So those values are basically called the arguments or parameters. So let me define another function which will find the sum of some numbers. So def and addition, and here let me write two numbers x and y. These are basically the two arguments to this function, and writing them here, what it will do, it will basically display the x plus y. Okay, so whatever value you will give it to, it will display the summation or addition of those numbers. So let me run it, and now addition and adding the two numbers, let me write 2 and 1 here. So what would it do? It will give me 3. Okay, so whenever in the program I will need it, it will do the needful always. Okay, similarly, if I am not giving it anything, what would it do? It will give me an error that x and y are the arguments here which are not defined. So in order to tackle this issue, I can overload it by giving it the initial values, that whenever I give it nothing, it will give me 0. Okay, so that is the operator overloading, in which I have given my function some initial values, that whenever nothing has been given to it, it will not give me an issue. Okay, similarly, suppose if I want to get these values from the function and want to store it in another variable, what would I do here? It is just printing it and not giving me anything. So in order to take these values, there is a command here, and that is the return command. Okay, so in writing it, what will it do? Just writing it, it will return 0. So what is the difference between these two? Now it is returning the value of x plus y, which I can basically store it in some variable. Let me call sm, and printing it, I will get it. Okay, similarly, if this is 10 and this is 2, so it will give me this sum. So that is the basic concept behind the usability of a function, in which I have seen that I can give different arguments to the function, and function can process it. Similarly, the function can also be used as a separate entity, in which it can autonomously perform some tasks, just like here, that whenever I will call hello, it will just display the statement hello world. Okay, that is all about the functions in Python. Similarly, what if I will give some other values to the addition here such that the number of values are not known? So how would I do it? Suppose this function just need two values. So if the values are increased, how would it manage it? So for it I can use another function here, and let me call it multi underscore add, and in it, in order to tackle these issue, I can write here static and value. Okay, so in order to add all the values which are available in it, what I can do, I can write here sm equal to this, and or giving it a 0 value, and for I in range of length of value, sorry, I don't know what is going on. So now, and similarly, if this is in value here, this is not val but value. So getting all these values and adding them together, so sm plus equal to value I. So all the values will be summed together and it will give me the answer. Okay, here. Okay, so now let me use it for multi underscore add, and now I have 1 2 3 4 values. Okay, so what is the value here? It is not displaying here anything because I haven't printed it. So printing it the value sm here. Okay, so it will give me 10. Okay, so that is all about the functions which are basically not supposed to have the fixed parameters. So in a similar manner, it can also return us the value here as well. Okay, so when it will be here, it can also be assigned to another variable smm, and it will be stored inside of it, and it can be printed just like here as well. Okay, so that's it for today, in which we have defined different possibilities of using the functions, what are the advantages of the functions, and where these functions can be used. So I think you have grasped all the concepts which are related to the Python functions, and with some more I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.